Day 12. The Queen of Heaven in the kingdom of the divine will goes out from the cradle, takes her first steps, and with her infantile acts calls God to descend upon the earth and creatures to live in the divine will. The soul to the little heavenly queen. Here I am again beside you, my dear little baby, in the house of Nazareth. I want to lend you my hand while you take your first steps, and you speak with your holy mother and your father, Joachim. Tiny as you are after having been weaned, as you move about, you help Saint Anne in the little tasks. My little mother, how dear and so special you are to me. Oh, give me your lessons, so that may I follow your infancy and learn from you to live, even in the smallest human actions, in the kingdom of the divine will. Lesson of the Little Queen of Heaven. My dear child, my only desire is to keep my child near me. Without you, I feel alone, and I do not have anyone in whom to confide my secrets. Therefore, with maternal care, I look around me for my child, whom I hold in my heart, to give you my lessons, and so make you understand how one lives in the kingdom of the divine will. In this kingdom, the human will does not enter. It remains shackled, and in the act of undergoing continuous deaths before the light, sanctity, and power of the divine will. But do you believe that the human will is afflicted because the divine will makes it die continually? Ah, no, rather it feels happy because over its dying will the divine will be born and rises up victorious and triumphant. And this brings joy and felicity without end. It is enough to understand, dear child, what it means to let oneself be dominated by it, and as proof, to let the creature detest its will so much that it would tear itself to pieces rather than go out from the divine will. Now listen to me. I departed from heaven only to do the will of the Eternal One, even though I had my heaven within me, which was the divine will, and I was inseparable from my Creator. Still, it pleased me to be in the heavenly fatherland. This was even more so because the divine will being in me, I felt the rights of daughter, of being with the divine persons, being rocked in their paternal arms, and participating in all the joys and happinesses, riches, and sanctity which they possess. For as much as I could partake of them, filling me so much as to not be able to contain more, the Supreme Being took joy in seeing that I, without fear, indeed with greatest love, filled myself with their goods. Nor did I marvel that they let me take what I wanted. I was their daughter. One was the will which animated us, and whatever they wanted, I wanted, and so I felt that the property of my Heavenly Father was mine. The only difference is that I was little and could not embrace nor take all their goods. For how many I took, there remained so many that I had not the capacity to contain, because I was always a creature. The divinity, on the other hand, is great, immense, and in one single act embraces everything. And so in spite of that, scarcely they had made me understand that I must deprive myself of their celestial joys and the chaste embraces which we exchanged, that I departed from heaven without delay and returned to be with my dear parents. They loved me much. I was all amiable, pleasant to behold, merry, pacific, and full of infantile grace, so as to ravish their affection. They were all attentive over me. I was their jewel. When they took me in their arms, I felt unusual things and a divine life palpitating in me. Now, child of my heart, you must know that as I began my life here below, the divine will extended its kingdom in all my acts, so that my prayers, my words, my steps, the food, the sleep that I took, the little tasks that which I helped my mother, were all animated by the divine will. And since I have always carried you in my heart, I called you as my child in all my acts. I called your acts together with mine so that you also in your acts, even the indifferent ones, the kingdom of the divine volition might be extended. Hear how much I have told you. If I prayed, I called your prayer in mine so that yours and mine would be strengthened with a singular value and power, which was the value and power of a divine will. If I spoke, I called your word. If I walked, I called your steps. And I did the little human actions indispensable to human nature, which were getting water, sweeping, helping to carry the wood to my mother to light the fire, and so many similar things. I called these same acts of your own, so that they would be strengthened by a divine will and its kingdom would be extended in your acts. And while I called you in each of my acts, I called the divine word to descend upon the earth. Oh, how much I have loved you, my child. I wanted your acts in mine to make you happy and let you reign together with me. And oh, how many times I called you in your acts. But to my greatest sorrow, mine remained isolated, and I saw yours as lost in your human will, which, horrible to say, formed a kingdom, not divine but human, the kingdom of passions, of sin, of unhappiness, and of misfortune. Your mother wept over your misfortune and every act of human will that you do, knowing where the kingdom of unhappiness brings you. Your tears still flow to make you understand the great evil you do. Therefore, listen to your mother. If you will do the divine will as by right, you will be given joys, happiness. Everything will be in common with your Creator. Weaknesses, miseries will be banished from you, and then you will be the dearest of my children. I will keep you in my very kingdom to let you live always on divine will. The Soul to the Holy Mother. Holy Mother, who can resist in seeing you weep and not listen to your holy lessons? I, with all my heart promise, swear to never, never do my will anymore. And you, Divine Mother, never let me alone so that the command of your presence may crush my will in order to let me reign forever and ever in the will of God. Little Flower of the Day. Today, to honor me, you will give me all your acts to keep me company in your infantile years, making 3 acts of love to me in memory of the 3 years I lived with my mother, Saint Anne. Exclamation. Powerful Queen, enrapture my heart to enclose it in the will of God.